Hi everyone, I'm Christy Goritson and welcome to Washington Grown. I'm standing in the middle of a beautiful Washington pear orchard. Pears are a good source of fiber and vitamin C, and our state is the top pear-producing state in the nation. In this episode, we're talking all about the sweet, delicious pear. When on the hunt for tasty pastries in Spokane, people flock to the Rocket Bakery. We'll head there and bake up a tasty pear tart. So good. And the weather is unpredictable, but we'll see how technology is helping farmers, especially pear farmers, monitor the trends and do what they can to be ahead of it. Then we'll see how millions of pears are packed fresh and shipped around the world. All that and much more on Washington Grown.
Are you ready to cook me up?
Okay, I don't have the hang of this.
So this is where we get our water.
Cheers.
Hopefully they won't eat my shoelaces. Our first stop today is in Spokane at the Rocket Bakery. This bakery and coffee house is a popular gathering place and has been for more than 20 years. This is just one of several locations, but they're all locally owned and offer made-from-scratch bakery items each day.
The food is good, and we like the atmosphere.
I love their whole wheat blueberry muffins. They're incredible. Well, I'm eating a blueberry oat bar and it's fantastic.
I kind of got the coffee bug and started coming here, and I think that the atmosphere here is one of the best in Spokane.
I have to say the very lemon tart is my absolute favorite. I could probably just take it and put it on my face.
I met up with owner and baker Julia Postlethwaite to learn more about this popular spot.
How would you describe the Rocket Bakery?
The Rocket Bakery is a place to come and have some excellent coffee with baked goods, which is the whole reason we even started, was because Jeff and I had a passion for coffee and came back to Spokane from Seattle, and there was nowhere we could find bakery goods to go with our coffee, so we started baking them.
Nice. So you loved your coffee,
Yep.
and you needed something to go with it.
Yep, so hence the Rocket Bakery. Rocket is supposed to be the coffee part of the name, and then bakeries.
I love that.
Yeah. Later in the show, Julia is teaching me how to make a Rocket favorite, a poached pear tart.
So sometimes I think rolling crusts really stress people out.
You're looking at one of them.
Now I'm off to the Stamps Pear Farm in Chelan. I met up with Steve Stamps to learn how this generational farm has been growing delicious pears for more than 60 years.
This is a family affair.
It is. I was saying my dad's been in it for 60-some years. I started going to the orchard before I started school. So my boys, they're involved as much as I can get them out here. But yeah, it's been a long-standing family farm. My mom still does the books.
That's great.
Yep.
Steve explained that while his family has been growing pears for a long time, there are still challenges.
Mother Nature is probably the biggest. Like I said, we had a hailstorm that came through in June and marked up a lot of our fruit. Early freeze. We had such an early spring this year. We had a freeze that even with the wind machines going, we couldn't hold the temperature at a certain level, and we damaged some fruit. And we've got what we call a frost ring on some of our pears, where when the pear was very, very small, they froze, and it puts a ring around this pear and damages it to the point where it won't be able to fresh market that pear.
So some struggles this year that you've had to deal with.
It's been an interesting year. Plus, everything has been early by a couple weeks. Here's a great example of the frost ring.
Oh yeah.
It got cold, and it put a ring around that whole pear. So that pear is not marketable in the fresh market. We may be able to sell it to a canner if they can get their blade under it. It may just be juice.
While Steve can't control the weather, he showed me one inventive thing they do to help control pests.
So what this is a pheromone dispenser, and we put it on every tree in the spring before bloom, and it has the scent of a female codling moth. So when the male codling moth comes into the orchard
Looking for his lady.
looking for the lady, then he can't really find her because it smells like the female everywhere.
Wow, that is
And so it eliminates,
fantastic.
for us, it eliminates some of the pesticide stuff that we want to get away from anyway as much as we can.
Do you have to deal with regulations or anything like that?
Yeah, that has become the biggest issue, and that's probably the biggest thing for my dad, who's been in it forever.
Yeah,
You can't talk to a farmer that isn't food safety conscious.
yeah.
I mean, that's what we do. We're taking care of Mother Nature, so we're not in it to cause problems with that. But that regulation side has really changed. You spend a lot more time doing that kind of stuff in a notebook as you do out here mowing or irrigating or taking
Yeah.
care of your fruit.
So these are the younger ones.
These are the younger ones. These are like 6 or 7 years
yeah,
old.
you can definitely tell they're
Yeah.
not as full.
Right.
So you plant pears for your heirs.
Pears for your heirs. That's the old saying. Pears for your heirs. As you'll see, we go 1 row of Bartlett's,
Yeah.
2 rows of Angels,
I
1
noticed
row.
that.
They have to have a pollinator, a different variety of pear that the bee will have. So that's why we use the Bartlett. You have to have that cross-pollination. It's same with apples. You have to have a golden to pollinate other varieties.
All sorts of tricks
Yeah.
up your sleeve, don't you?
I mean, you can talk about the money and all that, but it's a pride thing. I mean, most farmers are pretty prideful guys or gals, and they've been in it forever, and they're not in it to make a lot of money. They're in it because they love what they do.
For more information on farming in Washington, visit our website at wagrown.com.
On a crisp fall day in Washington, it's hard to beat the sweetness of a fresh pear. But there's something beyond the sweetness that makes pears appealing. Possibly it's because they're a member of the rose family. Maybe it's the special type of fiber that's uniquely high in pears called soluble fiber that contributes to its smoothness and promotes healthy blood cholesterol. Or possibly how pears complement warming spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, allspice, and ginger. Whatever it is, Washington State's fertile soil leads the nation in pear production, as the Pacific Northwest produces about 75% of the nation's pears. Pears are also unique in that they can be purchased and allowed to ripen in a few days at room temperature, and then transferred to cool storage to maintain freshness. Some pears don't change color as they ripen, so try gently pressing down near the stem, and when it's a bit soft, they're ready to eat. Pears also tend to absorb odors, so make sure you store them clear of strong-smelling food. A medium pear provides about 5 grams of fiber, making it a flavorful, filling snack. It also provides about 10% of the daily value for vitamin C. If you wait too long to eat your pears, they can be added to spiced muffins and scones or turned into pear butter. Roses may be beautiful, but they don't compare to eating a delicious pear.
Coming up, we're back at the Rocket Bakery to make a delicious pear dessert.
So good.
We're back in Spokane at the Rocket Bakery. It's a neighborhood coffee house that's been serving up fresh coffee and baked goods for more than 20 years.
I love that it's local and a fun place to get together with people and just feel like you're part of a small town community.
I have to say the berry lemon tart is my absolute favorite. I could probably just take it and put it on my face.
Owner Julia Polstlewaite and her husband opened the Rocket when they moved to town and came up empty while searching for some good coffee paired with local treats.
You have several different little spots around town, but what is the collective atmosphere of Rocket Bakery?
A small coffee house. We want to have really great coffee and drinks and then awesome pastries. So that's been our bedrock, kind of, is just awesome coffee, great pastries in a neighborhood where everybody can come in and just be comfortable.
Now we're going in the kitchen and Julie is teaching me how to make a pear tart.
So the first thing we need to do is make our poaching liquid. So we've got, whenever
That was just for us.
Well, I do have an extra bottle.
Okay.
So, but you always want to have, when you're cooking with wine, you want a wine that you would want to drink. And
Good advice.
that's very important. So we have a Riesling here. pairs really well with pears. And so we're going to put the whole darn bottle in here.
Whole bottle. Okay. It's magic.
Next, we add some sugar, a cinnamon stick, some vanilla paste, and lemon juice.
And so we just want this to come to a boil. It will dissolve all the sugar and be ready for our pears to bathe in.
Ooh. Then we peel and core our pears and place them in the liquid.
And then we'll just turn it down and let her just simmer away now for at least a half an hour.
As the pears simmer, we start making the crust.
So we're gonna get our flour in there.
Okay.
And then this is a bit of sugar and salt. And then our butter.
We blend it all together and add an egg yolk.
So we don't need it to come completely together,
Okay.
because we're just gonna sort of crumble it out and push it in.
Push it in, okay.
So sometimes I think rolling crusts really stress people out. So
You're looking at one of them.
so the nice thing with this, you don't have a top and stuff, is that just pushing it out just makes it. So then we want to just sort of push it up the edge just a little bit.
We set the crust aside and start making the filling. First, we grind up a cup of toasted almonds. Then we add some sugar and flour and mix it together.
Then we're going to add our butter, and I'll do that.
Cut that up.
We need to add 1 egg. In here we have a little almond extract and some dark rum.
That's a
Yum.
good addition.
We'll put that in there. Now we're going to just process this till it's completely smooth.
Once the mixture is blended, we spread it over the crust. Next, we slice our poached pears.
We're just going to cut each one in about, 1/4 inch.
And the pears still, they have some firmness to them still. They're not
They're not super
falling
soft.
apart.
So then we've just cut it. So then we're just going to slide our spatula. So you can use pretty much any kind of spatula. And then we're just going to give it a little slide. Okay, and then you just slide it right off your spatula, right onto your tart.
Wow.
We finish slicing the remaining pears and place them on our tart. Then cook it for 30 minutes.
Got our tart out of the oven, and so I've taken the poaching liquid and we've reduced it. So it's created this really lovely glaze.
It looks like honey.
Yeah.
Our last step is to spread the glaze on the pears. And now it's time for the best part, the tasting.
Here is to Washington pears.
Yes.
Love it. Those pears are delicious. Perfect.
Are you going to make one for Thanksgiving?
I think I will.
Excellent.
Actually, I can do it. I know I can do it.
Absolutely, you can do
Thanks
it.
to you. Thank you. Oh, this is so good.
To get the recipe for the Rockets pear tart, log on to our website at wagrown.com.
This tasty fruit can be used in a variety of ways, and there's a lot of varieties of pears. Well, I'm going to go around to the people of Spokane and have them try 2 of those varieties and see if they can tell the difference. Ladies, do you like pears?
Yeah, heck yes.
Does she like pears?
Yes, she does.
What are some of your favorite ways to enjoy a pear?
Usually eating it.
I like prosciutto on it.
I usually like to put it in fruit salads.
With cinnamon and nuts on them when they're fresh, or in a tart.
Or just by itself.
Or like plain, yeah.
Can't go wrong with a plain pear, right?
Right.
How many varieties of pears do you think we grow here in Washington State?
5?
12.
3.
10.
Wow.
10 different varieties of pears are grown here in Washington. And I have 2 of them right here. So I'm going to have you start off with this one first. Just describe that to me.
Very good.
Crisp.
I like it crisp.
It's crunchy.
Crisp and delicious.
Now I'm going to have you try
Good.
this one.
Not as crisp. Way sweeter. The other one was more tart. This is even juicier and it's softer.
Soft and yummy.
Softer and a lot more juicy.
I'll have some more. Oh my gosh, this is great.
Okay, which one did you prefer?
Second one.
Second one.
I like the first one.
Probably the second one.
They're both good.
The first one is a Bosch, which is typically more firm and spicy, and the second one is a Bartlett, which is a little bit more sweeter and is a little bit more smooth, like me.
Technological advances in farming have come a long way, but one thing farmers can't control is the weather. However, the ability to monitor the weather is a key resource that farmers, including pear farmers, use every day. I'm meeting with Dr. Garrett Hogenboom, the director of Washington Agricultural Weather Network at WSU, to learn how their weather centers provide farmers with critical information about Washington's weather.
We're at a weather station, right?
Yes.
So tell me what this is all about.
So what we're doing here is we're trying to monitor the weather conditions for this area here in Prosser. So what we have behind us is a weather station which internally has a data logger which acts like a computer. We can program that, it has memory, and then to this little data logger we have a whole set of sensors connected. So we have a sensor for air temperature, a sensor for relative humidity, we measure wind speed, we measure wind direction, we measure soil radiation, we measure rainfall. Also looking at soil conditions, so we're looking at soil temperature and soil moisture, and we also measure barometric pressure.
So why is all of this important to growers in Washington?
Weather is one of the most important factors really which controls agricultural production, especially crop production. So we're measuring these conditions here, and then we're providing that information to the farmers so they can make decisions.
Dr. Hogenboom showed me some of the innovative tools used on their weather stations.
Black ball, what's that guy?
Okay, this is an experimental sensor. We don't have this on each weather station.
Okay.
So what we're trying to do here is actually come up with an index which tells us when it's going to be, we have unhealthy conditions in the orchard for people to be working there.
Oh, interesting.
What we have right here is a wind vane which gives us wind direction.
Okay.
So this just goes around as well.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, pretty simple.
Now we're inside to see an example of how a wine grape grower can access and use this information to estimate the best time to prune their vineyards.
So what this basically shows that this model starts around October 1st. The previous year goes through the winter months and the spring months. The red line represents the maximum temperature and the blue line represents the minimum temperature. So when the minimum temperature reaches this yellow, orange or red area, it means that there's a high probability that the grapevines were affected by the low temperature, possibly causing, say, death of certain buds. So if you're a grape grower in this particular area, then you can see potential damage due to temperature on your crop and then take pruning decisions.
Sure.
For more information on agriculture in Washington, visit our website at wagrown.com. Now, Val's in Sela at Matson Fruit Company to see how their packing plant processes fruit for shipment all over the world and see how technology helps streamline that process.
My first stop is to meet with General Manager Jordan Matson and find out where their fruit is shipped to.
A lot of our pears end up here in the United States, but we also ship to Canada, Mexico, sometimes Brazil, Central America, Pacific Rim countries, and even as far away as the Middle East.
There looks like there's a lot of technology involved in your operation here, and so I'm just wondering, how does that really help in the life of your business?
Like a lot of other industries, we're trying to figure out ways to better utilize data, automate, adapt to the consumer demands, and just become more efficient all around.
Someone called this the brain of the operations when we walked in today. What all are we seeing here in addition to the brains?
So this is our shipping office, and what you have going on in the background here is fully automated packed fruit storage. And so when they say the brains operation, this is the control center for all the robotics that are happening in the room right next door to us.
I wanted to see how the process works, so I met up with the pear line manager, Eusebio Herrera, to learn more.
What happens when the pears first arrive here?
We have to put it underwater to make sure, wash all the pears. After that, we put kind of chemicals on the pears to make sure to wash it out really good and bring them to the sorting table to have our people to sort it out.
And then what happens at the sorting table? What are they looking for there?
They're looking for defect, damage, or insects. I mean, it has to be really nice fruit to go straight down.
Once the low-quality pears are removed, the high-quality ones are weighed and tagged for packaging.
They get paid by box.
By box?
By box. So we have some of the packers, they can make $12 an hour. But also we have packers can make $18 to $20 an hour. It depends how fast they can pack.
Once packaged, they are held in high-tech refrigerated areas where robots can get the fruit when it's ordered for shipment. The lower quality pears are sent back to sorting and used in canned products.
All right, so then the pears are all boxed up and they're put down here on this conveyor belt. Then what happens from here?
So from there, every pallet is scanned to determine whether it's an apple or a pear, and depending on the variety and commodity, the warehouse management system is going to choose what's the proper temperature zone to put the product in. And this zone right here is the pear zone, so it's at 30.5 degrees Fahrenheit, which is too cold for an apple, but it's perfect for the Bartletts we just saw being packed.
Okay, so you could get a request for a number of pears, you plug that into the computer, then it comes over, and the robot will find that magic box that matches those specs that you put in.
Exactly.
And it will pull it and get it to where it needs to be?
It'll take over quality control, just have that one final check before we ship it out.
Okay.
There is a lot more to packaging fruit than I thought. The next time I buy a pear, I'll know the long journey it took to get from there to here.
We are at Second Harvest, and I'm joined by Julie Humphreys with Second Harvest, and we're surrounded by a bunch of really healthy food right now.
Isn't it pretty?
It's really pretty, and this stuff is what you guys give out to.
What we distribute out of Second Harvest, yes. 50%, half of what we distribute out of here today is fresh produce. That's more than a 100% increase from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So we have all these beautiful products that are donated from our area growers. And so we built this kitchen, and we're really excited to teach folks what to do with them.
Yeah, so you're gonna show me how to make a really good salad.
It's very healthy. We'll get our protein in there too, so you don't necessarily need a meat with it. You can use it for a side dish too, but you can make it a main meal, definitely.
Our first step is to get our greens together, some arugula, spinach, and kale.
While you do that, I'll cut up some of the kale here. The darker the green, the more nutrients, the more,
And I know you are all about healthy eating.
I try to be. I truly like to eat healthy. And I think that's what we're trying to do, is move communities to eat healthier.
Yeah.
And to really enjoy it and find ways to make it fun and realize that it can be really good tasting as well. Do you cook with, you have two girls like I do.
I have two girls, yeah. You know, we do cook a little bit together. They like to bake mostly.
Okay.
That's kind of their fun thing. But the kitchen is always the place where everyone hangs out. So they're hanging out in the kitchen, doing homework and stuff while the rest of us are cooking the meal.
Well, I have a couple of millennials, so it's really fun to see how that generation is really into the whole farm-to-table philosophy. And
I love the nutty kind of bitterness of the arugula.
Yeah,
and
the spinach is obviously sweeter than the kale and the arugula. So if you can't tolerate the bitterness of the other two, you just mix it.
Look how pretty that is.
I'm gonna let you finish that so I can get the pears going here. It's one of the products that we get donated to Second Harvest a lot.
We slice some pears and saute them in a little butter. Then I toss in some candied pecans to our greens.
The sugar on the nuts kind of neutralizes some of the bitterness of that kale and whatnot. So some people like a little more than others. And these are just
I
really...
eat one and then I put one in here.
I like
it.
Good. You're fun to be in the kitchen with.
When our pears are a little soft, we let them cool off and start slicing our green onions.
How many fruits and vegetables do you think we have in this salad?
I don't know. It's too many to count, but it's great.
I think we at least have 5, and it's recommended that we all have 5 fruits and vegetables a day.
Okay.
The sad thing is very few people get that many. A recent survey by the Spokane Regional Health District showed that only 20% of kids are getting enough fruits and vegetables.
We dump in some roasted beets and then start making the dressing in a mason jar.
We've got olive oil and apple cider vinegar. This is a little bit of lemon.
Okay. And then I can smell this. Long ways away. Some
garlic.
Chopped up garlic.
That's honey. Oh, do we need a knife with that?
Yep. This is gonna take a while.
Okay. And then that's so easy.
We'll be fine.
All right?
Yep. And then shake, shake, shake.
Shake it up. There you go. We're gonna top this with avocado, just for fun.
So should I put you on the avocado duty?
What else do you want to?
Everything but the kitchen
Okay,
sink.
now that our pears are cooled off, we add them to the top of the salad. Then I start slicing the avocado.
While you're doing that, I'll talk just a little bit, if I may, about this kitchen that we built here at Second Harvest. It's kind of a new trend in food banks. It's really pretty. We have 200 food distribution centers around the country that belong to the Feeding America Network, and we're one of them. 50 of them have kitchens, of those 200, and only about 5% of them are teaching kitchens. And we're one of them here in Spokane, so we're very excited about that, because the whole point is to teach folks what to do with these fabulous fresh ingredients that we distribute. For instance, a bag of lentils. You give folks a bag of lentils, they don't always know what to do with them. We're very excited to teach people what to do, and not just low-income folks who need the food, but there's just a hole for that knowledge for everyone.
Right. And has the response been good?
Response has been wonderful.
Awesome.
Go to our website, check it out. You're welcome to come down and take a class.
Julie crumbles some gorgonzola on top of the salad, and I add in some raw beet.
Have you tried raw beet? There you go.
Yes, I have.
Yes, you have. It'll be interesting to taste the difference between the raw beet and the roasted one in there when you get to it. Okay, that is it. Yes, we got the nut.
Then we mix it up, add our dressing on top, and dish up.
There's about 100 tastes going on.
Nice and sweet, and then you have the vinaigrette. With every bite, it's something different. And I love that. It's an adventure.
Adventure salad.
Salad, I love it. Came up with a new name.
We can market it. What do you think?
I love it. To get the recipe for Julie's pear salad, head to our website at wagrown.com.
The next time you bite into a juicy pear or have a treat that's topped with some poached pears, remember there's a good chance it came from this wonderful state of ours. That's it for this episode of Washington Grown. Thanks for watching.